Hello, my name is Elder Price, and I would like to share with you the most amazing book.
Theater's my favorite thing in the world. I've been doing it for 6 years and I just love it. From musicals to plays to normal Broadway shows, there's nothing more exciting than seeing a show. Here at Stockton, the PAC puts on a show almost every week. A few weeks ago, they performed Courtyard of Miracles, and it was just translated from Greek to English. Now, here's my review on Courtyard of Miracles. So, here's a little backstory on this show. It's about middle-class Greeks living in 1958 in Athens, Greece. However, not too much is known about the show, seeing as how it was literally just translated a few weeks ago. So, the plot is a bit out there. However, the actors did a phenomenal job in pulling the show together and giving us a great performance. For plays, think of Shakespeare in a way. There's no music, there's no spontaneous dance numbers, it's just a play. The actors are telling a story and you just go with it. As somebody who has been part of plays and musicals, I have to say there's about 4 key components to make a show a good show. And that'd be acting, sound effects, lights, and the set. Without any of these being spot on, the show is just lifeless and boring. You want to bring people to this world, make them think the characters are real, and feel what they feel, show emotion, which is pretty much why the acting is the most important concept of a show, along with everything else. I myself have been in shows and backstage in shows, so I'll be reviewing from a techie's point of view, if you will. Acting is really hard. As somebody who has been on stage, I understand that acting just not for everyone, and that would be me, which is why for most of my shows I was a techie or someone who was backstage all the time, not really seen. But probably some of my favorite scenes from a play that I've done are fight scenes. They really get the crowd going, thinking, oh my god, this guy's gonna punch somebody or punch something. Probably the best scene was between Bobus, played by Paul Brodo, and Stelios, played by Ryan Gorman, both students of Stockton University. They really did bring out the essence of anger and frustration that middle-class people might feel of gambling and throwing out their money, or for Bobus, wife problems. They really did make me believe that these characters were right there in front of me. We were watching their story, watching their fight, watching them go through all this pain and trouble that normal people might even feel, and yet here they are. Another thing about fight scenes is when you can really hear it in the actor's voice. For guys, their voice just gets deeper and more angrier. For girls, more high-pitched maybe, ready to claw somebody's eyes out. These two gentlemen really did make me believe there was going to be a real fight. Whether it's between somebody's mother, a friend, your father, a sibling, they wanted to make us believe they were going to fight hands down right there in that stage. Fight scenes can also be tricky because depending on what you're fighting about, you don't want to get too into it and then lose the audience. You want to get right back into the story and right back into what it's all about. And that's putting on a good show, or even for the story, just making them believe the fight's over and now we just go back onto business. Here's what the fight scene was all about.
Bean! Watch what you say, or you'll be the one who pays for all of this.
It's cowardice, Mr. Spadopoulos. It's cowardice and ingratitude.
Listen here. You are not the right person to be teaching me what it means to be a man and what it is to have a conscience. That's something that a real man can come and talk to me about, not a windbag.
You're breaking up a home, that's all I'm saying. And given the occasion, I'm willing to turn a blind eye to the rest.
Go put your own house in order, you jerk. You old bum. And then you can come and put mine in there. And if anyone around here meddles in my business again, I'll beat the hell out of them!
Now, part 2 of a good show would be sound effects. Now, I know what you're thinking, and I know a lot of people would think music, but sometimes it's not always music. It could be regular sound effects like a car crash or a horn honking, whatever the script calls for. This one was a little different. They had a guy walking around playing an accordion as a way to show that the scene is changing or even bring out a certain mood in people. There was no singing, it was just the accordion, and it was so amazing the way this guy played. You could really hear the somber, deep, sad tone in each note that was played when somebody was upset or hurt. The accordion also went to this upbeat tempo that was filled with joy and laughter when people were happy, when people were excited. It was a good way to really bring out the emotion of the scene, seeing as how it was a bit confusing at times when so many characters were talking all at once and you're just like, what's happening? Seeing as how this show was just translated, I have to say the actors did a very well job in bringing out what they can do with something so brand new to the Americans. Another way that they did it with the sound was definitely a good job in helping to really bring out the type of music that even went on. Now up to part 3, the lights. As somebody who's done lighting effect for 4 years throughout high school for every single type of show, whether it was a play or a musical, I know lighting can be very important to a show. It really helps bring out characters, the setting, the set itself, and also the mood, just as well as the music. However, the lights are so important because you need to see the actors. Now, although the lighting here was very dim, I would say, it really did still bring out what was happening in the show. Colors would change as a way to show nighttime, and then it would get brighter all of a sudden when it was supposed to be daytime. Dimming when it was supposed to be, say, one part of the set instead of the entire set itself. Those kind of aspects really do help show what is going on. As somebody who has done it, it does take a lot of work, and it takes time and effort, and it can be very challenging. What people don't understand is that lighting itself really brings the show together. Seeing as how lights usually initiate a cue, which is when an actor is supposed to either start a scene or end a scene or get off the stage entirely, having the lights on point is very important. And in this show, they had the lights hands down to the T. Everything about it was phenomenal, from the very light blues to show that it was nighttime, to bright but not ridiculously bright to show it was daytime, and especially the little scenes where it was focused on 1 or 2 actors in order to bring the attention to that person. Everything about the lights just brought me joy, seeing as how that's what I did, and that's what I wish to do one day, maybe. Lighting, along with sound together, is very important, but sometimes sounds aren't in a show. This one did have sound, however, the sound brought something with the lights. The sound definitely did match the lights, but the lights itself was its own category. Everything about the lights was spot on. No matter where you were, you could see the show and enjoy it. The final part of a good show is definitely the set. Now, I love building sets, and yes, it is hard and it is stressful, but it's really what brings the show together and takes the audience to the character's world, takes them to where they are. This set, however, was very different. All it was 4 pillars, a few chairs and benches, but the way they had everything set up was just amazing. It was supposed to be a courtyard of sort where they congregate, talk to each other, and yet here they are, just 4 pillars, and a bench. You would think it was very plain, like, this doesn't seem normal, but for each scene the pillars would move and the benches would change, and it just brought something to the table. Not all sets are so intricate and complicated, like building a house or something. It could be simple as 4 pillars and a chair. But yet the way the actors used that set really did help believe that when they left the stage, they were going to an apartment. When they went outside, they went through a door. The show itself was a wonder to watch, and from acting to the set, the entire show blew me away. So, hope any free time you get, you can go see a performance at the PAC, and that's all I have to say about Courtyard of Miracles.